By a larger than most expected margin of 13 points, voters also granted Governor Kevin Stitt a second four-year term in office. And it sounds like education will be a priority for the governor, and that some of those priorities may face strong opposition from his opponents and even some members of his own party. I spoke about that with Quorum Call publisher Sean Ashley. Sean, all signals point to private school vouchers being a big priority for the governor in the second term. Would you agree with that?
Oh, certainly. During his general election victory speech, the governor spoke often of education, and in particular, he noted that every child in every zip code in Oklahoma should be able to obtain a quality education. Now, he never specifically said vouchers, but he couldn't have foreshadowed that discussion better with those words.
And perhaps in his hirings. Tell me more about his new chief of staff, his background, and how that might influence this discussion going forward.
Brandon Tatum comes to the governor's office from Oklahoma Christian University, where he was an executive vice president and chief of strategy. Now, some of his work as chief of strategy was involved in finding alternative ways for individuals to complete their higher education, particularly in the nursing fields where he worked with local healthcare providers, as well as in education and helping students there get the credits that they needed in order to go on to become a teacher. He has also served on the statewide Virtual Charter School Board, which oversees virtual charter schools in the state of Oklahoma. Therefore, he's very familiar with the idea of alternative means of providing normal education to folks. And he brings that idea of disruption, if you will, to the governor's office and the advice he will be providing the governor.
That's very interesting. Well, on Wednesday, members of both houses are sworn in, some new, most reelected. Now, in the last session, Sean, some of these Republican lawmakers we're looking at made it clear they did not approve of the governor's plans.
Oh, that's right. We saw in the Senate where a voucher proposal, the Empowerment Scholarship proposal brought forth by Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat, was put up to a vote on the Senate floor, and it failed. In the case of the House Speaker Charles McCall had indicated that he did not believe his caucus, the Republican caucus and majority in the House, wanted to take up that measure. But because it failed, it never made it to the House for possible consideration. Treat has indicated that he does plan to look at filing another empowerment scholarship or voucher proposal for the 2023 legislative session.
Also, the governor's hand-picked choice for state superintendent of public instruction, he is also a strong proponent of more school choice. How might he impact these negotiations?
Well, Ryan Walters, the superintendent-elect for Oklahoma, gives the governor another voice in discussions on the second, third, fourth, and fifth floors with lawmakers there who may be opposed to the idea of an empowerment scholarship or voucher program. Superintendent of Instruction Joy Hoffmeister, who challenged Governor Stitt in the governor's race, generally opposed the idea of the vouchers or empowerment scholarships. And so she wasn't a voice on the side of the governor in arguing for that proposal.
But again, you mentioned vouchers failed in the last session. What makes the governor think that it might get past the finish line this time?
I'm not sure he's yet convinced that it will get past the finish line yet. But I do think he knows, much as we've outlined here, that he is headed for a political fight over the issue. And he has on his side a new chief of staff and a new superintendent of public instruction who can help him in that battle. We'll have to see ultimately what Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat or another member of the legislature brings to the table as a proposal for lawmakers to chew on and fight over.
You said he talked about this at his victory speech. I imagine he will talk about it again to kick off his State of the State speech coming up in just a short time.
I'm certain it will be a key part of that speech.
Quorum Call publisher Sean Ashley, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.